Hey kid, who's that with you? She's a fox.
That's my mom. Say hi, Mom.
Hello.
Hey, would you be interested in joining me and your son here and watching a really weird movie?
I don't know. We've got things to do, son.
Oh, but Mom, he seems so nice and innocent.
And I've got a van full of pristine baseball cards.
Ooh, I want to see.
All right, just this once.
You ready to talk some movies, Brennan?
Yeah, okay.
Well, let's go! Corrupted you! Corrupted you! Corrupted you! Corrupted you!
Hi, welcome to the Corrupted Youth Podcast. I'm Dan.
I'm Brennan.
And who do we have with us, Brennan?
That would be my mother, your beautiful wife.
Oh, it is. Hi, Stacy.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Are you sure about that?
I'm not actually. I was lying when I just said that. So just roll with it.
So yeah, we skipped November because our schedules were extremely busy,
Yeah.
but it was my birthday month. So that happened to trickle into December for is it a holiday episode? There's no holiday in this movie, but
It raised my spirits, just like Saint Nick. Yeah.
Jury is still out for me.
you know what? And I can understand that. But
Yeah.
perhaps through a discussion, you will feel differently about it.
And what are we talking about today?
We were talking about the movie Psycho Goreman, otherwise known as PG Psycho Goreman, which happens to be one of my favorite all-time movies ever.
Mm-hmm.
And we are technically bending the rules a little bit with this one, and I don't care.
Yeah.
As a honorary birthday movie / holiday special.
Yeah, because we don't usually cover comedies
No.
on the channel, but this is, I think, our first.
No, not really. Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh, true. But that was also our second episode.
Yeah, and there was we've forgotten to bring this up, but also our challenge to Young Sheldon, where we watched the first episode of Young Sheldon when that came out.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess technically that's supposed to be a comedy, but I didn't find any humor in it.
Yeah, it was not funny at all.
And as far as I know, that show has run its course.
Yeah, it's
So
over.
We've lasted longer than Young Sheldon.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Woo!
I didn't think we would be challenged that hard by Young Sheldon, but here we are.
It's a tough battle.
We came out victorious. The winners of a battle they had no idea they were fighting. So yeah, this is, wow. Not a first time viewing for me. Anyone else?
First time for me.
100% first time for me.
What? Are you kidding me?
That should come to no surprise. I have not seen this movie prior to today.
Well, that's not totally surprising, but yeah. I've always described this movie as if Guar had made a children's movie.
Tried to make a children's movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, we'll kind of get into a little bit of some background on this. I guess we could probably dive into the trailer.
Yeah, boot up the old trailer machine.
That's the trailer machine running, everybody.
It's old.
I don't know. I think that's what was his name from Thundar the Barbarian?
Ukla the Mock?
Yeah, that was definitely Ukla the Mock.
Definitely no correlation whatsoever.
Your trailer is Ukla the Mock.
Many moons ago,
A nameless evil was imprisoned in a place far beyond reach.
Hurry up!
If he were ever to be released, it would spell certain doom for all existence.
Is that fear I smell? Your planet will be torn to pieces, and I will
Mimi,
treat your
look!
screams as I rip.
Is this yours?
Oh.
B? Oh my god.
The gem of Paraxidike. Whoever wields it is able to command me.
Go over there and wait for us to come back in the morning.
You will suffer an eternity for this.
Mom, Dad, I want you to meet Psycho Goreman or PG for short.
I will bathe in your blood.
Don't worry.
Be worried.
He's gonna kill everybody. Not unless I tell him to.
What did you three maniacs get up to?
This is getting a little weird.
This sick game must come to an end. She will enslave the galaxy into endless servitude. Kill him!
Cool.
The ultimate evil has awoken.
There's a new god in town, and his name? Psycho Goreman. It was nice meeting you.
It would be nicer if you were dead.
Alright, bye.
Wow, what a trailer.
Oh wow, cool trailer. Cool trailer we just
That is
all
a cool
watched
trailer.
together there.
Yeah. Wow, family time, everybody. Oh, speaking of family time, this is a family movie, isn't it not? I think it is.
Yeah, this is a family movie. Family is a big theme of this movie.
It really is.
Oof. Go on.
Okay, well, all right. How about I'll get into the letterbox info. So, Psycho Goreman is, or PG Psycho Goreman, is a 2020 movie directed by Steven Kostanski of Canadian royalty, I'm assuming. And he's known for a couple different things. He did Manborg back in the day. He's kind of known for a lot more sillier fare like this, but he also directed The Void. Do you remember that one, Brennan?
I do remember The Void. Yeah.
Yes, and that one is very Lovecraftian.
It is. That was a fun movie.
Yeah, it's hospital cult Lovecraftian movie. Just weird stuff.
Weird stuff.
But played a lot more serious than this. And then he's also done stuff like VHS 94. He had a segment on that. Freddy Frico is his new one, which is another. It's a lot like this in a way where it's a throwback. Editing Dan here. Just wanted you to know that I do get the name of this movie wrong. If I say it at any point in time and get it wrong, just know Frankie Frico.
Back to the podcast.
It's kind of a let me revisit things that I've seen as a kid through a more adult lens, because this movie is very much Power Rangers in a weird way. I've heard him explain it in an interview as a tokusatsu movie.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Which I didn't pick up on that the first few times I've seen it. I just viewed it more as like, oh, fun, cool monster stuff.
Yeah, the second I saw the costumes and stuff in this movie, it read immediately like something straight out of Japan. It was great.
And Stacy, you've been exposed to a lot of that through Brennan.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. I definitely got the Guar
Yeah, the Guar
reference
shows.
too, for sure.
And that's where I project on it, I think, is the Guarness of it, of just cool costumes. But also at the same time, Guar is influenced by tokusatsu as well.
Uh-huh. It's full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Circle gets a square.
It all goes back to Godzilla, huh?
Really
Godzilla and
does.
Ultraman.
Here we are again.
Yep.
According to Letterboxd, Psycho Goreman says, little girl, big psycho. Siblings Mimi and Luke unwittingly resurrect an ancient alien overlord. Using a magical amulet, they force the monster to obey their childish whim. And accidentally attract a rogues gallery of intergalactic assassins to small town suburbia.
Yeah.
That's reasonably fair, yeah. Let's see here. Who's all in this? It stars Nita Josie Hanna as Mimi, Owen Meyer as Luke, Matthew Ninneber as PG, and Stephen Vlalos as the voice of PG, Adam Brooks as Greg, Alexis Hansey as Susan. Does it really all that matter? Because these are very Canadian.
What are you saying?
people.
Canadian actors don't matter?
Well, it's a low budget fare, but there is some United States royalty in this movie. I don't know if you picked up on it.
No, I did not.
Not from Wisconsin originally, but also Wisconsin royalty. Rich Evans.
Rich Evans?
From Red Letter Media.
Where was Rich Evans in this?
He's a Death Trapper.
Oh.
One of the Paladins Obsidian.
Really?
Yeah, we'll get into that when that scene comes up.
Yeah, that's super fun. I did not realize that.
And no offense to any of the Canadians featured in this movie. I did not mean to insult you.
Yeah, I can't really talk tough from America.
No,
Absolutely not.
not at this point.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Not a chance.
I would like to become a Canadian territory.
Yeah.
Well, this movie kicks off with a pretty cool text voiceover introduction, which I have no right to try to imitate, so we'll insert a clip here.
Many moons ago, on the distant planet of Gygax, a nameless evil reigned supreme. This ruthless being had amassed power beyond measure, and was preparing to strike down all that was good and just in the universe. Before he could fulfill his dark destiny, the forces of light banded together, and in their most desperate hour, toppled the Dark One from his throne. He was imprisoned in a place far beyond reach, for if he were ever to be released, it would spell certain doom for all existence.
Oh, wow, what a spooky voice that was.
That was a spooky voice, wasn't it? Very fun, though. It really kind of sets the tone of you're going to watch a little bit of a 80s/90s throwback.
Mm-hmm.
That did not set the tone. Like, there's no setting the tone for that movie.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, you make it sound like it was that innocent. Like, oh, that really sets the stage. No, I had no idea what I was getting into.
Were you like, what is this? Is this like a...
Well, I just had
space
that, like,
adventure
here we
movie?
go again. Yeah, classic text that I'm clearly not going to read, and I don't need to read because the movie's going to pretty much tell me. Yeah, I had no idea. That was the innocent part of the movie.
Well, the movie starts off with a game of Crazy Ball with Sister Mimi and Brother Luke.
The boy.
The boy, yes.
Mimi's brother.
Yeah, I don't even know if they even mentioned his name for a good chunk of this movie, to be honest. Which is kind of a joke within the movie itself.
I do like in this opening scene, them playing this game. I just like how dirty they are, and it feels like they feel like real kids. They're not on some pretty nice green lawn. They're just playing their own made up game. I think it's made up, is it not?
Oh, it's completely made up.
Totally made up. Yeah. It's getting all dirty. I miss those days.
I liked right away that the kid acting actually wasn't too bad, really, because sometimes, I don't know, whenever there's kid actors, I kind of
Oh, yeah.
groan a little bit initially. So
Yeah.
I was pleased to see that the acting wasn't terrible.
Yeah, and it's not really a spoiler for this, but Mimi is extremely precocious and obnoxious, and she does a great job at it.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember being like, oh, I don't like her. Like, she isn't always like nice. And then I'm like, oh, that's probably her character. And she's doing a really good job at it.
Yeah.
Completely. So Luke ends up losing the game of Crazy Ball, which we can't even possibly begin to decipher any of the rules of Crazy
No.
Ball. But his punishment is that he just has to dig a hole in the backyard. And apparently back there for quite some time, it's a laughably large hole. Because if anybody's actually had to dig a hole ever.
Yeah. As two people who have moved dirt and dug into dirt, there's no conceivable way those two kids dug that hole.
And that's part of the joke.
It's so great.
And they get down so far, and there's a weird glowing object in the bottom of this big giant hole that they dig. And apparently Mimi just kind of guesses whatever order I don't know, I guess a button or combination lock is to this device that's in the ground.
Well, she did the eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Please, everybody knows that. That's how you know to unlock anything.
But yeah, there's also a fun joke about grandma being down there.
Yeah.
But as things kind of start to activate, they get scared and they just decide to fill in the hole, which is also ridiculous that they could just fill it to perfection.
Canadians.
It could be Canadian officials.
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
Things are just that easy for them.
Dongles, if any of you are Canadian, please write in. Explain to us your hole digging procedures and how all that works. How efficient are you? I'm guessing under your administration, probably more efficient. Yeah. Just saying.
Must be all that optimism and hope.
And if you hurt yourself digging, you just go to the hospital.
Yeah. Have some poutine.
Uh-huh.
Slap some poutine on it, go home.
Some ketchup fries, some ketchup chips or whatever they eat.
Ooh.
Back bacon.
A bag of cheesies.
Cheesies could solve all the world's problems.
Dongles, if you haven't had any cheesies from Canada, go to Canada, get some cheesies. You won't be sorry.
Thank us later.
Cheetos can suck it.
Get some cheesies, get some weed, then cross that border again.
But maybe just stay up there, actually.
Yeah.
I like that we finally hit the third line of my notes. It's bedtime monster talk because the kids are all worried that perhaps they've resurrected some monster. And the question comes down to, are monsters real? And the dad gives them the answer of, well, people are the real monsters. You know what, Dad? You're not wrong.
He's not wrong.
So yes, monsters are real. But it does turn out they did resurrect a monster because rising from his prisonous slumber comes a monstrous hand out of the ground. And then in a nearby abandoned warehouse, factory type situation, we get some pretty crummy thieves.
Some goons.
Yes, who talk about how they killed somebody in a crime.
Yeah.
And then one guy has like the frame of the old people.
Yeah.
And it's their picture, so they're bad guys. But then that's where the monster shows up and proceeds to dispatch of them pretty easily, decapitating two of them, just ripping their heads off. And then the one last guy begs for his life.
But he pulls out a knife. That's when I knew they were from Canada. I was like, oh, this was filmed in Canada because he has a knife. Got it.
Fair play. But apparently he's going to get a little more than he bargains for.
Yeah, I did like when the guys get their heads ripped off. I was like, yeah, I can imagine that at a Guar concert for sure.
For sure. It was the guys like splattered remains up on the chain link fence. And then like later in the movie, it still was there. I was like, well done.
Attention to detail.
Yeah. Good job.
I mean, we like the Halloween decorations being up.
Absolutely.
Not for too long, though. I'd be taking those body parts down after a little bit of time. Like, that's it. It's over. Clean it up.
It's more of a seasonal thing.
Yeah.
Well, once morning comes along, there's a big giant hole to get in the backyard. And this is where we meet the parents, more officially. Like, we find out Greg the dad is pretty lazy.
Yeah.
That's an ongoing theme throughout this movie. And then also the mom, Susan.
Yeah.
She's
she was.
Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little discussion of what could have possibly come out of the hole and how when it comes time for somebody to fill it, Greg just tries to pass it along to the family as a whole. And then when he goes to actually fill the hole, when he's nominated, his wrist magically hurts instantly. It has to be carried off by Susan.
Funny how
Digging
that
up a
works.
hole.
Not necessarily something that happens in this house, right?
No.
Never.
Why are you shaking your head yes while you say no?
Every day.
Every day? No, come on. Well, the kids decide that they're going to follow the tracks that left from the hole at night. Oh yeah, I would be remiss to not mention they have a little knocking system which they communicate with, which is just random. It's just random knocking. There's no actual code.
Yeah, I'll forgive the whole part of like that whole nonsense that they could dig that hole and then fill it back in. But the knocking conversation.
When I saw that, I was like, okay, I know not to take this movie seriously.
Oh, for sure. But that's just the kind of dumb stuff you get in kids' movies.
Yeah. I did like how the mom or the
mom.
dad? The mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just knows how to knock like that too.
Because moms know.
Oh, yeah. There's no escape.
Watch yourself.
So yeah, they end up finding this escaped monster inside the warehouse because for whatever reason he's just there because cheap location, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
And Mimi has the gem that they found in the hole that was clearly keeping the monster at bay. And as they meet this monster, I think the problem with doing this in a podcast is that all of the lines that he delivers are very clippable.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't have the time or the patience or the effort. Maybe I am Greg. Maybe I'm lazy. I don't want to make all the clips of everything he says because it's so good.
It was good. I liked the way that they made his voice sound, like the effects that they added. I will say I did like that part. I thought his little one-liners were pretty good.
Yeah.
I do have an autographed picture from the voice actor.
Oh my God, of course you do.
Don't flex on us like that.
Wow.
It's right here in the dongle den. And it says, "I've been shown true power, the power of love, weaklings." And it's rated PG.
That's cute.
But that's also a spoiler. Mimi being as precocious as she is.
I like that you're using precocious.
Yeah, great word.
But she's off, like she's a colossal brat, I think.
You know what? Yeah, I think you're right.
I
she
don't
is a
think
brat.
precocious is...
That assigns her too much.
Yeah, that's giving her a little too much credit.
That's true.
Like, she's pretty awful.
A little demented, too.
Yes.
Spice that in there. Mm-hmm.
Like, why mom and dad were not in on the fact that she's the real psycho Goreman.
Speaking of which, there's the renaming process in this scene where they go through a bunch of different names and they kind of bounce ideas around and they come down to Psycho Goreman, or just PG for short. Which is probably just how I'm going to refer to him during this podcast because it's just shorter.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Yeah.
But it almost kind of like references the movie being PG, and it's definitely not, as someone who is very PG sensitive.
I do think, yeah, that was kind of a idea.
This was not a
it.
PG movie.
Also, like, well, yeah, it's like a kid's movie. It's PG.
No. Maybe PG back in our day.
Guess you could probably get away with a lot in PG back in the 80s.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Not
boobs
this.
in PG.
Yeah. Clash of the Titans had boobs in it.
Mm-hmm.
Was Airplane PG?
I believe so.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because they had that Midwest humor mentality, and everybody's like, "Oh, we'll let it slide." It's
Yeah.
just boobs. Which is also kind of very European in a way.
Definitely.
So, if anything, we've gotten somehow more sexual and more stringent in this country regarding boobs.
Yeah, that's a different podcast. Well, it's a different day.
I know someone who's a dongle who's not complaining. Pete. Oh, we get the Alien Council.
Oh yeah, these guys were great.
Yes, and they've become aware that Psycho Goreman has been released from his imprisonment, and it's a real gallery of just goofy alien designs, ranging from like pretty cool to just downright ridiculous. Like the guy who's just like a robot body with a fun, gross, meaty skeleton type head and a, I don't know, what would you call it, a tank of liquid with tubes
Yeah.
up his nose.
Yeah, he got the Walt Disney treatment.
But yeah, all these guys, like, I don't know, you could probably really get into it because I know, like, I have the comic that was made that has like a bunch of short stories and stuff. So there's a lot more lore that goes into this that I won't get into here.
I liked the Beetlejuice head guy, like the little shrunken head in the little
Yeah, that guy was
Beauty and the
great.
Beast bell jar thing.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
a good way to describe it.
Yeah, that's the one guy I was talking about.
Oh, I thought, wasn't there another?
But there's like
Anyway.
a snake guy.
Yeah, the makeup was really good on that lizard, the snake guy.
Oh yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, there's another lizard guy that looked very much like the lizard guy that was in Masters of the Universe, that movie.
I haven't seen that since I was like 8.
Okay. Well, one guy just kind of resembles the guy in that too. And I thought like that was a fun nod because that guy ends up just getting disintegrated by Skeletor. And I was like, what? Come on. He's the coolest looking guy in that Rogues Gallery.
I actually didn't like the head leader lady. Her.
Oh, yes. So we get the Templar.
Yes, the Templar.
Who is, her name is Pandora. And she comes in to kind of, like, they kind of call her in, this council does, because the Templars had a lot of dealing with the race that Psycho Goreman is from the planet Gygax. We didn't bring that up either. But he's from the planet Gygax, which Gygax is named after Gary Gygax, who he's one of the creators of Dungeons and Dragons. So that's a super fun reference.
Very fun. Also, cool name. Super cool name.
Oh, for sure.
More Wisconsin royalty.
He is, yes.
Nice.
Yeah, because it started here in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Down in
Lake Geneva, wasn't it?
Correct.
Ding ding ding.
The birthplace of TSR.
See, I do listen to you when you talk, honestly. Or at least I did that time, so.
Well, thank you.
No problem.
See, Dongles, you're not the only one who happened to listen to us on occasion. Tolerate our ramblings.
Yeah, when we're not podcasting at you guys, we're just podcasting at her.
Literally. I am the third wheel. My God.
Also, welcome back. Welcome back, Stacy.
Yeah, welcome back.
Oh my God. Here we are.
She was on our really horrible sounding Gremlins episode.
Yeah. I finally recovered from seeing Gremlins.
And now she's not going to be back for, what, another 7 years?
Yeah, probably. Gonna recover from Psycho Goreman.
So the council wants to know where any of the species on the planet that they imprison Psycho Goreman on. And so they just summon a random human, and instantly the Templar woman just transforms her into a meat cube.
Pandora,
yes.
Nice.
Transforms this poor lady into a meat cube, which then she proceeds to smash and smear on her face and vows vengeance against Psycho Goreman.
she like made her into one of those little beef bouillon cubes for making soup.
And I like that too, because immediately you're just like, oh, Pandora's evil.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of religious iconography done with this character. Very supposedly like all in white armor that's very angelic looking.
The wings.
Mm-hmm. Does not come off as very angelic.
No.
Seems very oppressive in nature. the kids take their friend Alistair to go see Psycho Goreman, and they bring him a TV so he can become educated, and some magazines, which we then have the Hunky Boys scene, which is one of my favorite in the movie.
One of the best.
Where he just kind of rips on him for like the narcissism of advertisement.
Petty displays of wealth. How can your short lifespans allow such narcissism?
Yeah, but look at all the hunky boys.
I do not care for hunky boys. Or do I?
Which is great.
Yeah,
Well,
that was a laugh out loud.
And one of the like many throwbacks throughout I will give this movie from a comedic. There was many callbacks to many of the, but I'm sure we'll get into that.
Yeah, they did do a good job of all that.
So then Psycho Goreman decides to tell the kids his tale, which I have, again, no right to try to repeat it. So I'm going to throw in a clip here.
Can I ask you something?
What?
What are you?
That is a tale bathed in the blood of a million dead memories. I was born in a time before time, on the planet Gygax, a world light years from your own. My entire existence was servitude, under the rule of beings that claimed to serve a higher power that governed over us all. These entities, known as the Templars, had no more divine purpose than the dirt I excavated to help build their churches, but still, they were able to crush the people of Gygax beneath their gilded heels. The Templars preached to us their holy scriptures declaring their rightful ownership of Gygax. To them, we were nothing more than parasites trespassing on hallowed ground. But then, one day, everything changed. I discovered an artifact thought to be lost forever, forged by ancient Gygaxian warlocks out of energy from the darkest corners of the galaxy. The gem of Paraxidike. The moment I took the gem in my hand and felt its immense power, my destiny was clear. I would destroy the Templars and anyone else that stood against me. The gem bonded with me and gave me power beyond all other beings. I was able to raise an army, led by my loyal generals, the Paladins Obsidian, and take back Gygax. But I didn't stop there. It was clear that my thirst for death would only be satiated if I snuffed out all light in the universe. But I was overthrown and imprisoned by the Templars and their planetary alliance. They stole the gem, and with it, my power. To this day, I do not understand how such weak-minded insects could defeat the greatest power in the galaxy.
Man, that voice is cool.
Yeah, and we also get the whole Gygax, planet Gygax thing. And it turns out his species was slaves to the Templars. And according to the story, yes, he did find this gem that gave him ultimate power, and he just went mad with power and just started taking his revenge out on the entire galaxy.
As you do.
So then the kids just leave, and he's left to watch TV, and he decides that perhaps this device has enough power so that I may contact the Paladins Obsidian, and he sends out like a distress call to them.
Through the TV. The TV was the device.
Yes.
I liked how the screen started bleeding.
Yeah.
It just bleeds throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
It just won't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we have like Alistair's over for dinner, and it's just a little bit more family dynamic stuff happening here. And more family comedy, I guess, for lack of a better term.
But at least the dad, his wrist bandaged, like was wrapped in a sling of some sort from the shoveling.
Unless he was just faking it.
It was that little attention to detail, though, that I was like, oh, that's pretty good, actually. Because I was looking for that.
There's Stacy.
That's
on the
right.
case.
Yeah, yeah.
On call.
No injury goes untreated.
On call all the time. What's going on with your wrist? All right.
Well, PG shows up after they're done with dinner because like the kids are playing video games and whatnot. And this is where Mimi ends up getting Alistair, who she has a crush on, by the way.
You mean the brat has a crush on? Like, she's horrible. She's even horrible to Alistair.
Yeah, because she has him transformed into some weird googly-eyed brain monster.
Yeah, I felt so bad for him.
And then it's also at this point where the parents see PG outside, and the mom freaks out, runs out with a baseball bat, and hits him with it, and then breaks the bat. And I like this because Greg comes out, and he's like, my lucky bat. And he just jumps over Alistair like...
Yeah.
He's like this big mound of just brain and eyeballs with a couple tentacles. And the dad just jumps over like he's not even there.
Not even phased.
It's my lucky bat. But yeah, he definitely threatens the parents at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we also, I don't know if we really explained it at this point, but because Mimi has this magical, mystical gem, PG has to do whatever she says. And because she's a horrible child.
Yeah. She really is.
She just will constantly make him do whatever. And
including turning Alistair into a scary brain monster.
Yeah. I guess that's
actually kind of
mentioned earlier.
Kind of cute brain monster.
He is kind of adorable, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. No Halloween costume material can come out of that though, Jay. Not.
Sure you can. You just crawl around on your hands and knees and
yeah.
No one would get the reference.
Nobody.
If somebody did.
If somebody did.
Oh, they'd freak out for sure.
Like if you went to one of the comic book convention things.
Oh, definitely then.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You'd be getting some high fives. You'd have to like high five with the little arm from the brain.
Tentacle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said you're gonna make that costume for me?
So get back to me. Let me think on that a little bit. Some of that EA foam.
Yeah, actually.
But hey, what movie from the 80s or 90s would not be complete without a montage? And this is where we get our montage of the freak off montage. It's a musical number where they somehow have a band.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Where
oh my god.
PG becomes a drummer.
Oh, Lord.
He figures out drums. And then it's a montage of them going about town, trying on clothes, having a fun time.
I love PG in like normal clothing.
Yeah, it was very like Max Headroom. You probably don't remember Max Headroom, Brennan, but don't you think? A little bit, Dan? Max Headroom-ish? Like when they would put hats on him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So
that's what it kind of reminded me
of.
Kind
of a rubbery man.
Yeah.
With items on.
Just here I am. Not supposed to have human clothes on.
Normal human here.
Yeah.
Speaking of just him being a normal human, they have him at this place called Lester D's Real Diner. And, yeah, this is also a scene where we find out where he can just kind of unhinge his jaw and just eat mass amounts of food at once. And he explains that eating is not just for sustenance, but it's also a means to give someone a true warrior's death.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Where'd you say you're from? Gygax? Must be far from here.
But I like that they're just in somewhere normal with them, and it never comes up. It's never addressed that there's a weird purple man.
Yeah, I do like when they're walking down the street and the one kid like calls them ugly or whatever.
He just blows them up.
He just turns around and blows them up.
That's probably when the cops were initially called.
Yeah, I'd hope so.
But yeah, this is another good scene of just showing how terrible Mimi is, because she just starts eating Luke's fries.
Yeah, even though he said that he wanted to finish them.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a brat.
Total brat.
Yeah.
Not precocious.
She's you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
She's just awful.
But she plays it well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
that is the point.
High five. I hope she's doing things because she really played that part like very well.
Yes. If you're the actor who played Mimi, right into the Jungle Den.
Like as a parent, I'd be a little concerned. Like, that's my kid. Yeah, that's my kid. There she is. Yeah.
Probably felt a little too real for them, I'm guessing. Maybe she wasn't acting much. So then PG visits Luke in the nightmare realm. It's just like he's on his bed in this nightmare, and there's just zombies coming out of a cemetery surrounding his bed. And that's where PG decides to communicate with him. That's his only means, privately. Because he wants that gem back so he could just have his freedom. And he's trying to convince Luke, like, hey, give me this gem so I could just be free. Your sister is terrible, and you know it. She's just mean to everybody.
I think this is where I had my first, like, this movie is so unnecessary. Like, there's just so much unnecessary. That was my first kind of like, I'm just a little overwhelmed. That was my, it was just a lot.
Yeah, if you're not ready to jump into dream state communication.
I just had that like, oh my God, where are we going now? I can't. That was.
I mean, for context though, for the listeners, you don't watch stuff like this ever.
Never.
Very foreign.
So what is the most intense, scary thing you've ever seen?
Well, Gremlins. I did see Dead Calm. That was very scary. I saw Jurassic Park. Extremely scary. And the only reason I did not leave in the middle of Jurassic Park is because we saw it at the Grand Theater and I was way up in the balcony and it was just logistically, I could not leave. I snuck out of Pet Sematary in high school. I left pretty early into the movie and snuck into Beaches, which is a profoundly sad movie. So I went from being terrified to crying my eyeballs out. That's about it. That's X-Files. I could handle a couple of those.
Doctor Who. Doctor Who. Yeah.
You have seen Evil Dead 2 when we first started dating.
I did.
But I feel that you might have only partially kind of watched that just to be cool for me.
Yeah, I really did. I barely handled that. So yeah, it was the dream sequence that I was like, what have I gotten myself into? This is too much. Got to get away fast. I'm looking at the clock. I think that was probably when I took my first commercial break. I was like, I need to go upstairs. I need to stretch a little bit.
I did like in the dream sequence because Psycho Goreman just kind of instills a bit of doubt into the boy about, his sister. But I do like how when he asks, like, give me that gem, and the kid's just like, no. Psycho Goreman's just like, oh, dang, you're stronger than I expected.
Yeah.
So they just have to stand there awkwardly waiting for the dream to end.
Yeah, when he was like, well, now what? And he's like, well, we just have to wait.
Yeah.
And the zombies never really get any closer. They just kind of like get so far out. And so it's just really fun and awkward. And like good editing in that for the joke.
Yeah.
I appreciated that. But speaking of Psycho Goreman being dressed in clothes, we get the crazy ball lesson at the school, which outside of the school reminded me of your elementary school.
Yeah, it actually did. I thought about that too.
It was painted different, but the structure seemed very similar.
Mm-hmm.
All of the scenery, I felt like that could have been filmed in Wisconsin.
Yeah, because we are in Canada. Yeah. We're in Wisconsin.
Especially when we were in northern Wisconsin.
Really, like all the wood scenes, and I feel like, we've walked through that
very
area.
Relatable.
Like very relatable, which probably did me no favors either. Because I was like, wait,
what
is this all going on? What's happening?
But anyways, this crazy ball lesson where PG's dressed in the human clothes for just like this one scene where they're out and about. And again, no clear rules on crazy ball because it's made up. It doesn't matter. And out of nowhere, cops show up and are just like, get away from those kids. And this is where Psycho Goreman just melts a cop.
Yeah, to be fair,
still alive.
the cop did shoot first.
They did shoot. And Psycho Goreman has the line about, like, I wish you had missed and hit the kids or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, though, going back to Crazy Ball, don't you kind of feel like that was Mimi's whole mission, was just to find people to play Crazy Ball with? Like,
She was
Seems-
making the rules.
she just wanted to play Crazy Ball. And she wanted to, like, I even feel like she resurrected Psycho Goreman, like, really, just so she could have someone to play Crazy Ball with.
I mean, I think the parents probably know the rules, but yeah, she probably just plays with her brother.
Yeah. But she just needed to be bossy and tell people her game and share the rules and then have to win at it.
They don't even show the full rules. They cut during the explanation.
Yeah.
Because it is Crazy Ball. It's like when you kids would play Crazy Town.
Yeah.
Like whatever you kids were doing in our house, Crazy Town, I was like, man, there's probably some type of weird war crime happening, and I don't need to know about it. The less I know, the better.
The civil politics of Crazy Town, I don't even want to get into.
Yeah.
The scandals.
I'm
oh
not ready
Lord.
to know. And we're not referencing the band either.
No,
Crazy Town.
definitely not the band. Dave, for the record, no one associated with Corrupted Youth Podcast has any association with the band Crazy Town.
I did like that one song, though. I might be on my own on that.
Yeah, you might.
Anyway,
I don't know.
I'll send it to you, Brennan.
Listen, I don't want a divorce, okay?
You've heard it before. I've played it for you.
Don't mention that because we'll get a copyright strike for sure. Don't start
Yeah.
singing it. Melted Cop. That's where we're at. This is very Guar.
Very Guar.
Uh-huh.
It made me think of X-Cops because for those that aren't aware, members of Guar were also started a band in the 90s called X-Cops where it was a bunch of terrible cops and it's them making songs as a band of terrible cops. And they're back on tour. Check them out.
I like the actor, too, how he like contorted his body when he would walk
Yeah.
after. I thought that was really good.
So, having done very limited research for this, the director did make a short film about this melted cop guy way before this movie came out.
Interesting.
I haven't watched it. I probably should have, but so apparently this is just a fun character of his that he brought back.
That's
But
great.
I do kind of like the whole gag of this cop. This is very Guar, and I just really appreciate this whole business of it because I'm a huge Guar fan, and that's kind of why I wanted to bring this movie in for my birthday in November because I do celebrate Guarvember. For the doggles who remember when we did Skullhead Face and nobody knew what the hell I was talking about the entire time.
I know.
You knew.
We
Most
know.
of it.
We know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know because we're just that deep into it. But so later, everybody's walking through the very natural looking woods of Canada/Wisconsin, and the melting cop hands Mimi a note, and she's like, "What is this? A Valentine?" And it just says, "Kill me now," or like,
Yeah,
"Please
that was
kill me,"
great.
whatever it
Yeah.
says, written in blood.
And I like how the cop still, like, the gun he was holding fused into his hand. So
Yeah.
he's just constantly just like shooting randomly. He tries like shooting himself too, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, also like the unlimited amount of bullets in this
Yeah.
gun. But
Yeah.
hey, we could critique that and be like, hey, that's not realistic, or it's just PG magic.
Yeah.
Or also, that's what you're going to choose to critique. That's the part that.
Hey, we're Americans.
Yeah.
True.
We're obsessed with guns. Not all of us, so
Yeah.
let's throw that out there.
I just keep thinking back. I was so exhausted with this movie at this point.
Yeah, because at this point too, Mimi is so terrible.
Uh.
Like, if you haven't caught on by this point, Mimi is absolutely awful.
Yeah, like this is the scene where they're walking and she tells PG to kill her brother.
Yeah.
And of course it's just like he's like, okay, like he's cool with it, but
Lee has no choice, first of all.
That
But also,
too.
yes, he would.
yeah. Yeah, and doesn't like stop him until he has Psycho Goreman lifted the brother off the ground. I don't know the brother's name.
Luke.
Luke, that's what it is. Yeah. Yeah, lifts Luke off the ground. Like, that's scary. That's super messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Luke gets very tormented in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And again, imagine me. I'm pretty fragile watching that. And I was just like, God, this girl is awful. Like, ugh.
Well, then our Pandora Templar shows up at the local police department where the one cop who did escape the interaction with PG, he's all sweaty. And I like how the cops in this movie are just so disinterested in anything.
Yeah.
There's the one with the ponytail, the old guy, who's just has a string of paper clips and could just care less about literally anything.
Yeah.
Well, they're Canadian cops, so.
I suppose. Potentially less crime. Less gun crime, anyway.
Yeah, they're like the Coast Guard. They just kind of sit there.
Hey, the Coast Guard does things.
A lot of the Coast Guard helps a lot with like civilian boats and stuff.
They bust people actually bringing drugs across the border because of boats. It's not
that's cool.
It's not just poor people trying to get a better life who just have like 20 kilos of fentanyl strapped to babies sneaking across the border.
Anyway, now I see why you guys are up here for hours recording, solving all the world's problems.
Talking about fentanyl babies.
I like to package all my fentanyl in the shape of a baby. So that way it's easily transported over a border.
That makes sense.
Oh, Lord.
Thank you, Brennan. Thank you for your support.
Of course.
Oh, yeah. This is where we get the Paladin's Obsidian. They show up while everybody's walking through the woods. And the PG's like, hey, like, you guys are here. This is awesome. Like, you need to get this gem back and release me. And we'll just go about our normal business of taking over the galaxy like we were doing. But as it turns out, they've made a deal with the Templars. And let's put it this way. The Paladins here, every one of them, super awesome.
Yeah, their designs.
What a bunch of fun costumes for all of these characters.
Yeah. I like the one that, I like all of them. There was the one that kind of looked like Odorous. The beard and the crown.
Yes. Dark Scream.
Dark Scream. Yeah.
Gee, I wonder where they got that name from.
Right.
Definitely not Starscream.
Yeah. When he's wearing the crown and they called him Dark Scream, I was like, oh, it's kind of bad comedy, isn't it? Oh, that's a reference.
It is. I like how he was talking about how they all just share the crown, just pass it around.
Take turns.
Yeah.
But then, what was the one guy, Cassius 3000, where he was like a robot guy that just had a bird on his shoulder?
Yeah.
Like robot mustache.
Yeah, he was great.
And PG was like, except you, I never trusted you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the one that was just like a bucket of body parts with guns for arms, that was the one that was Rich Evans.
That's so awesome. Too bad you can't hear him laugh.
He does the, oh my God.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, these are also very tokusatsu.
Definitely.
In hindsight, especially the one that's the witch.
Yeah.
And the one that's like a weird, like living cemetery.
That was cool too. Very inventive.
I don't recall all the names off the top of my head, but
Fake fan.
wow, you're gonna call me out like that?
You took notes. That you just must not
They
have
don't
thought that
mention
was
everybody's
important.
name. They don't mention.
Hey.
You want me to look it up right now? I'll look it up. I edit this show. I will go and I will find out everybody's name and I'll put it in. I'll do it. The two of you can't make me look like a chump.
Or maybe it's in your little comic book collection.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thumb through that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sure.
Issue 5.
No, there's only one issue, everybody. It came out through Lethal Comics. It took forever to get, but hey, I get it. You should have just hired me. I would have gotten that stuff done right away. I know what a deadline is.
We got a deadline to record. The Packers are playing. Hurry up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. The Packers.
Oh, jeez, the Packers.
Oh, jeez.
The Packers are playing the Vikings, and
Yeah.
they can't lose to them because the heck with Minnesota. You guys are a bunch of clowns. Go on with your stupid horn, eh?
Oh, my God.
Oh,
Dumb. Dumb.
hate
It
it.
sounds like me taking a cheese dump after I drank all the beers.
You have a Viking horn cheese dump sound? Oh, my God. I don't think that's what you wanted.
We've been together for 30 years. You know if I do or
Oh,
not.
my God.
Has a new ship come to port?
Yeah.
Or was Dad eating the charcuterie
Yeah.
board last night?
Your dad's calling
Yes.
the Vikings again.
Well, anyways, guys, about this movie. Mimi won't let PG fight. So she uses the gem to paralyze him, and she forces PG to apologize because he's getting his butt whooped by the Paladins. And eventually he does apologize, and then he defeats them all, and he gives a warrior's death for Darkscream.
Pretty cool. The mouth opening, super wide.
Lots of blood everywhere.
Yeah, gave me Orga vibes. Remember Orga from
Oh, yeah.
Godzilla 2000?
Uh-huh. Stacy, you remember that.
Yeah.
How could I forget?
Pete, you remember that?
Stacy's got her Orga tattoo.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Orga.
R.I.P. Gone too soon.
But so after this battle, I mean, we just breeze over the battle because it's super cool and you should watch the movie and check it out.
Yeah.
But it
Again,
turns out
I
that-
was exhausted at that. Like, you guys are high-fiving, and I was exhausted. Okay.
I kept looking over at you like, hoo, do you like this? Hoo. It's pretty rad, isn't it?
Oh my God.
This is a movie I wish I could have made with my friends in the woods.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I had to deal with that fact too. Like, what have I married? This is a glimpse of my husband's this is his favorite movie. If my husband could make a movie, this would be the movie. I kept thinking
You're
that.
probably not wrong because
Yeah.
I said earlier that if I were a movie, I would be this movie.
Yes.
It's all my sensibilities rolled into one. Goofy, silly stuff. Weird, serious horror things. I mean, there's like a bunch of like weird horror movie references that I didn't even bother to write down in my notes. Dongles, you'll probably get it.
Include them in the comments.
Yeah, write us an email.
Yeah.
But as it turns out, though, PG has been poisoned through just dialogue of they used his blood from some battle to poison their blades. So he's injured. He's oozing purple goo. And then we go back to Greg and Susan having a bizarre interaction as usual. The movie kind of does that every once in a while.
Yeah.
But after their argument, Greg is taking a dump and then talking to himself like he's arguing with Susan, which is kind of funny, saying all the things he wants to say. And then out of nowhere, he sees this little purple glowy dot that just turns into a fun projection of PG's head that just is yelling at him, giving him a message that they need help. And it like starts and stops a couple times, which is pretty funny. The scene is like he falls off the toilet into the tub.
Well, I was going to say, I love how he was like, I don't know where that is. Or where do I find you?
And It just keeps showing up again. We are here, located at this, whatever.
Take a left at this spot.
Yeah, I love how intense it was. Like, he just shows up. He's like, "You need to find me right now, or you're all gonna die."
So then he runs off to rescue them, and the rescue is pretty funny too, where he's just like loading him in the back of the truck, and then Mimi's like, "Oh, you got to make room for my wagon."
Yeah,
Just because she can't help herself. She can't help but just being that terrible of a person. Where she is like this being of like ultimate destruction, and is just like, "No, you need to move over for my wagon."
yeah.
And how Greg throws in one like, "Oh, PG, do you think I'm lazy?" Yes, Greg, get in the truck.
Yeah, but then Pandora shows up at the kid's house.
Yeah, so the dad gets back to the house, and Pandora is there in her human form with the mom. Clearly has been talking to her, telling her, who Psycho Goreman is. And this is where we get like a divide in the family, because obviously Pandora wants Psycho Goreman handed over, and Mimi doesn't want that. The brother, Luke, kind of rightfully is sick of all of the constant backtalk and disrespect he's been getting from Mimi.
Just everything. How he's like, this is getting a little out of hand. I'm like, all right, Luke, you're finally someone.
Yeah, he's a very sympathetic character at this point.
Yeah, so I don't really blame him, but he goes over to his mom and Pandora's side, and Greg finally kind of stands up for himself and chooses not to go, and takes off Psycho Goreman and Mimi.
Yeah, so they escape, and then PG is saying like, "Hey, give me the gem. This is the only way that you can save me and that I can defeat Pandora." And this is also where the dad gives the weird dad advice.
Yeah.
Of like, from our opening of, "Hey, there's this one time, there's this guy who pulled up in a crappy van and said it was full of pristine baseball cards, and he wanted me to come inside and check them out. So I did. And he had all these great baseball cards, and it just goes to show you, like,
sometimes trust the creepy weirdo."
Yeah.
It was such the wrong advice.
Yeah. Mimi goes up to this little crucifix.
Oh yeah, that whole part.
Because they go back to the warehouse that they've been shooting all their location. They go back to the warehouse, the cheap location to shoot in, and Mimi goes up to the crucifix hanging up and starts having this conversation with God, only to ask what kind of sunglasses she should wear.
It was so ridiculous.
And then she snaps the cross on over her knee.
Yeah. She's like, "I already decided anyway. I don't even know why I'm talking to you."
Oh my gosh. This movie had so many twists and turns. I'm like blurring them all together. So yeah, this was the part where Pandora and the mom, like Pandora's mixing her food color water vials and makes her take a drink. And she does. And she turns into a Pandora.
Yeah, she gets all sorts of cool armor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you could tell Luke is pretty freaked out by all this too.
Because again,
like,
Luke
scary
is the
angel
sensible
lady.
one. Yeah,
scary angel lady just turned my mom into weird, crazy mech angel.
Yeah, Luke is the sensible family member of like, this has gotten a little out of hand.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I feel that Luke is the one that the director wants everybody to connect with in this movie. Like, in a way, we all become Luke in this movie, and we're all viewing it from his perspective of, we really don't want crappy conflict, and we don't want to be treated like crap, and we've all kind of been treated like crap by someone.
He's the Neville Longbottom.
It's a fun little Harry
Yeah.
Potter reference.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate too.
Wow. We really can't get into that right now.
Yeah.
Doggles. If you don't know, go read the entire Harry Potter series. Don't pay attention to what J.K. Rowling posts online. Read the books for what they are. Have fun. Maybe
Yeah,
watch
they
the
are
movies.
fun books. Yeah,
Yeah.
the movies are fun too.
Yeah.
You can separate the art from the artist.
I still listen to a little Kanye. Hey, I'll say it. That's a tough one too.
Hey, Michael Jackson.
No Diddy though.
Yeah, no Diddy.
I'm good on that.
Yeah.
And the R. Kelly. I don't
Yeah.
even listen to any R. Kelly.
You know what,
Agreed.
guys? I'm not giving up on Weird Al Yankovic.
Giving up. Something happened?
Oh, you haven't heard?
Oh, brother.
No.
No, I'm just kidding. Weird
Oh,
Al's a saint.
oh, you scared me so bad. You actually just scared me so bad.
No, there's
Oh,
I couldn't
wow.
even make something up. He's an angel.
That's like when
Mhm.
people post the Morgan Freeman found alive at 83. It's like, don't do that to me.
I know,
That'll be
just
on
try to
page
look.
2.
Almost.
No.
So meanwhile, since everybody's it's Mimi, PG, and Greg are at the thieves' warehouse from earlier in the movie because easy shooting location. Pandora knew Mecha Susan and Luke show up while the weird alien council watches from afar on a hologram. But this is where Luke, he reminds Mimi of their dad's quote about the real monsters
Hmm.
and how he says, like, you are actually the monster and how, like, you're one of them.
Yeah, which is so true though.
It really is because she's an awful person.
Yeah, I feel like there's a sequel somewhere because she did not learn her lesson. Like, she still is awful.
Well, at least
She-
as
She
far as-
kind of did.
Sorta, but
I mean, this far into the movie,
Yeah.
not.
Now she
wasn't.
just learned to not be mean to her brother all the time.
Not really, though.
and again, let me just for like reference what was going on in my mind. When the mom turned into the Mecha Susan, whatever, I knew that there was only about 30 minutes left, and I was like, oh my God, what is like I can't handle one more twist and turn of this movie at all. I was emotionally shocked.
Maybe I'm too far deep, but I don't think of this movie as twists and turns.
Oh my God. I was so
I'm too close
emotionally
to it.
exhausted. Ugh.
So of course they choose to play Crazy Ball in order to determine the fate of Psycho Goreman and the Gem too.
And the entire galaxy. For
The
that
entire
matter.
galaxy,
And that was,
definitely.
yeah, and it was PG's at his request
Yeah.
because story.
And I like how dramatically they shot the two teams playing Crazy Ball only to cut to like the hologram footage and the council watching.
Yeah.
And you see it from afar and it just looks completely ridiculous.
And you get bloodles. Pass me some of those bloodles.
Oh, that's right. The blue noodles.
Maybe they were cooked in the blue Star Wars space milk.
Oh.
Fun fact.
Hey, small galaxy after all.
Yeah.
But in Crazy Ball, what, you get extra points if you hit someone's butt? What was
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that is one thing that was established by Crazy Ball at the beginning of the movie is that 5 points for a butt shot.
it? Totally reasonable.
Yeah, this is a big Crazy Ball montage. I mean, this is like any referencing Harry Potter again, any type of Quidditch match. Consequences happen, but really it doesn't matter. I can't imagine having to read Crazy Ball montage though.
Yeah.
Is that fair, everybody? I used to read them Harry Potter, by the way.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
Those really were.
Just me and my cool, smooth voice
Yeah.
reading Harry Potter for hours on end.
Simpler times.
Of course, this game of Crazy Ball 2 ends in the most dramatic way because two opponents throw their balls at each other and they collide in the air. Then the rule is that the point is scored by whoever punches the opponent first. And of course, it's the final point of the game, too. Thankfully, for once, I'm glad Mimi punched Luke and was mean to him a little bit so they could win. But yeah, Mimi runs in and punches Luke right in the gut.
I don't know. I was
Yay.
kind of hoping for Luke. Only, who am I kidding? I had no idea what I was rooting for. I just was like, this is too much.
Well, maybe he does end up protecting PG from Pandora. And Pandora is just willing to kill Mimi. But the mom steps in.
Mama Bear.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was pretty sick.
Mm-hmm. I do that for you, Brennan.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then she ends up getting stripped of her superpowers.
And it's all wet. Why was that? It reminded me of when Jim Carrey comes out of the rhinoceros and he's all
Sweaty.
gross.
I mean, I was thinking more like when you come out of the weird paranormal realm in
Poltergeist.
Yeah, we're just covered in the weird slime.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Do you ever watch Poltergeist?
Nope.
No, she has not.
Nope. And I'm not going to, dongles. Not a chance. No way.
Well, we already watched the remake with Connor. So close enough.
Oh,
There you go.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but Connor likes scary movies.
Yeah, but when she watched Poltergeist, she said she wanted her like hour and a half back. Or whatever it was.
No.
And I was so sad. But I think after watching the remake, she had a rebuttal on that. She was like, no, perhaps you were correct.
Once you see how worse or how bad that concept could be.
Plus, once you realize too, like, I don't know, I feel sometimes you reach this level when you're like a preteen where you just hate everything and everything's dumb.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
This old movie is so stupid. I don't like it. I remember going through that.
Yeah, she probably likes it now.
Listen to her back catalog. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff Brennan was shitty on.
Yeah. We were all teenagers once.
We were. It's okay. We grow. We mature.
Well, did
Or,
Yeah.
or
I'm looking at all the Transformers behind you right now.
or your mom's like, you made me watch this movie. How mature can you be?
Oh, Lord. Yeah, you're definitely watching a Hallmark Christmas movie.
I've
Ooh.
watched several. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And you know what? I like them. Tell the dongles how your theory on Hallmark movies. Go for it.
I like Hallmark Christmas movies. Like, I admit that they're super cheesy, but it's my form of sci-fi. Everybody's like, there's diversity, there's like wealth, there's no wealth inequality. Everybody's rich. You never hear about, they can't afford things. It's just always, they have great jobs. I don't know. It's just my version of sci-fi that if only.
It's like a utopia.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
like a Star Trek utopia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's ridiculously corny and cheesy. I'm well aware. But again, nobody's hurt. I mean, there are some really sad Christmas movies, and I'll pick up on that vibe right away. And I'm, nope, not watching that one. But in general, they're all just pretty,
It's always like a woman, and she's dating this guy who he's like, I'm sorry, babe, I can't go to your Christmas dinner thing in your small hometown because I have to do a business meeting
yeah.
to get us $12 million. Sorry, babe. And then she goes there and falls in love with like
The
a
Christmas tree
pottery
lot.
instructor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always like it's
Yeah.
always something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Christmas tree lot guy, you know.
Yeah. It's so they're all ridiculous. But I've even seen ones where she was going to leave because she, got the job in Switzerland, and where he just went to Switzerland with her, and I was like, wow, plot twist! I love it.
Beautiful.
That was great. She didn't have to end her career and stay in Connecticut at the tree farm. He went with her.
I still think there's a degree where they're all a horror movie to a certain point. Something happens and then it becomes not a horror movie. Because sometimes, if you think about it, these setups are really, it's like somebody's the killer here, right? Like, it just feels really odd because it's not set in a reality and it's so bizarrely happy.
Okay, you just stay out of my Hallmark movies. Would you please?
Stop making me watch them.
Stop.
I've watched more Hallmark movies than you've watched scary Psycho Goreman movies with me.
Yes, there is that.
There is that.
I'm a delicate flower.
I'm the better spouse.
Uh-huh.
I'm kidding. I love you.
I love you. Okay, keep going.
I get stuck watching both of it.
Sorry, Brennan. You're the real victim here.
Yeah.
You're the victim of a...
See, corrupted youth on both sides.
The victim of loving, supportive parents.
Yeah. What a travesty.
How dare we?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of nice
Back
moments,
to Psycho Goreman.
Yeah.
But Mimi asks for the gem from Luke, but she's just kind of mean. But then it turns out that the Frig Off song from earlier is love. And they bond and they realize that, you know what? Yeah, we're crappy to each other, but that's love. That's just how they show love in their family, is just wrong.
But they did. Well, who was it? Greg commented on the TV still bleeding. I mean, that was kind of a.
That was great.
I think that was
way earlier, but still. It was all the callbacks. That was well done in the movie, I will say.
Yeah, and PG, he's given the gem, and he becomes powerful, and he fights Pandora, and to equal her sword that she made out of her wings, he ends up ripping body parts out of her through her armor and makes this really cool spinal meat cord, or meat sword, I should say. Makes a meat sword.
Yeah, super awesome.
This movie.
But yeah, like maybe like does a Knock apologizes to Luke and they hug and PG wins the fight.
Yay.
And he decides that since Pandora was a worthy opponent, he will give her a warrior's death.
Yummy.
But you know what? You know what that means? Now that he's all powerful again, the Age of Chaos begins anew.
Yay!
But the real lesson here is that PG realizes that he no longer needs the gem because he's now powered by love, and he goes forth to destroy the galaxy. He opens up a portal to somewhere else in Canada and just starts hand blasting items and people, and
it's all very uplifting.
Yes, and it even makes the news where they talk about a giant naked purple man who's just destroying everything, and that's nice. That's a nice kaiju moment.
It is, yeah, because he's all big,
Mm-hmm.
shooting lasers out of his hands,
which is his hand blast look very much like some Shin Godzilla atomic breath coming out.
Perhaps, yeah.
You know, one thing we didn't comment on, I noticed several times in many of the like gory parts of the movie, like that there would be random explosions or like someone would just randomly start on fire when they were ripped apart.
Well, of course.
Oh yeah, I mean it's completely ridiculous.
Yeah, they got to get over the top with it.
Yeah, there was just many moments where I was like, oh my god, why is that guy on fire now? Like, okay.
Because that's kind of the thing, is that the confused tone of this, I suppose, can be, you can just apply a wink to everything. It's in on the joke. You're in on the joke. You should be. It plays it relatively straight for the most part. And that's kind of why I let this slide as a comedy, is because the comedic moments don't really necessarily come out of comedy, because it is kind of played straight in a bizarre way.
I don't know.
It could have been a very serious movie.
Oh, easily. You could change the tone of this movie very easy in either direction, and it tap dances on that line the whole time. which is the beauty of it because it understands what it is. And it's different than, say, a movie like Santa Jaws, where they're intentionally trying to be bad.
Yeah.
Where this movie understands that maybe we are bad, but we want to make the best movie possible.
And the most fun movie.
Yes.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Well, anyways, so after the news broadcast of a giant purple man destroying a town in Canada, that's on TV as Alistair goes to dinner with his parents. And he's still the big giant brain googly-eyed creature, and his parents just don't seem to notice or care.
Yeah. I do like this as our credits too.
Yeah, as the credits roll, it's just them eating dinner together. But then we get like I wouldn't say a mid-credit scene, but it's during the credits, just kind of halt. And we get a scene with the council as they realize that they're completely screwed. And the one guy pulls out the revolver. It's seriously an Earth revolver. And it's just like, well, there's always the plan B. He says, who wants to kill themselves first? Which is ridiculous because of the Earth revolver aspect of it, because they're just these weird space monsters.
And they're eating bloodles.
They are eating bloodles. And applause from me.
Yeah.
You did it, movie. You did it. You went there, you did it, you did all the things, and you ended spectacularly.
So you liked it, Brennan?
I did like it. Yeah.
I was worried because you initially, when this movie came out, did not really seem to have any interest and seemed kind of, I don't know, not interested in watching it when I showed you the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like, I don't know. It's hard to
It's not really your thing when you see comedy horror movie.
Yeah. Yeah, like it just seemed like
too cutesy for you.
Too cutesy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That was also at the time too. It just seemed like it would be worse made, I suppose, is the way I could put it.
Mm.
That's like, understandable.
Like I didn't know if they would execute the kind of concept right. Like I was more worried that it would just be boring or cheesy.
Yeah, because it is a fine line, like I said.
Yeah.
Like they tap dance on that line and somehow managed to make it work.
Yeah, like I think like the pacing and the editing and the acting and the writing, it was all like quality, really quality. So that was really nice to see, especially for a movie that's like lower budget. And it kind of lets its lower budget show. And it's fun. I like it. Should we go on to the rating since we're...
I mean, yeah, I guess all of our reviews of that can be part of the rating. So using the word movie, how would you rate this and would you recommend it?
This is a movie. I would recommend it. It's a lot of fun. I think if you know what you're getting yourself into, I think that's a big first step. And I think the movie does a good job trying to set your expectations right away by making it super goofy and all over the place, which I can understand how for you, Mom, that can be a very kind of confusing experience. But yeah, I do recommend it. It's a lot of fun, especially to any tokusatsu, any horror, any especially any Gwar fan. It's definitely right up that alley for sure.
So Stacy, as our special guest, which we are honored to have you here.
Very honored.
Oh Lord.
We are. And to a degree, I have to apologize for taking you through the ringer on this one. But this is also one of the very few movies that I thought would be entertaining for you to participate in, but also wasn't going to be completely repulsive to you and wasn't going to... I've listened to podcasts where other people have put their spouse or loved one through something that's so far out of their league, but at least you have some idea of the podcast, what I'm into, the influences of this movie.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, all in all, I do think the movie was good. I thought the acting was really good. I thought the writing was really good. I mean, all the throwbacks, the callbacks, the humor was well placed. It was enough. It was like a little break for me as someone who gets a little too emotional. I thought the breaks of the humor was enough to kind of keep me tolerating it, but I think it was just a bit much for me. I mean, obviously that's not my kind of movie, but I mean, I would recommend it to someone, and I agree with you, Brennan, like as long as they know what they're getting into. I mean, I think it is a fun little journey of a movie, but I just don't watch movies in general, and that was just a lot to take in, and I was just really overwhelmed and really, like, I wasn't even sure I could record. I was just really kind of, I had to kind of walk around a little bit and like just chill out a little bit. So
It's a lot.
but yeah, I thought it was a good movie. It's just not, it's not a movie for me by any means.
And how would you rate it by saying the word movie?
Movie? Question mark.
Even though you liked it,
I liked it. It's just not, it's not for me.
would you recommend it?
To the right person, yeah, for sure. This is not something I would recommend to just anybody. Because what does that say about us? Because again, the whole time I kept thinking, this is a snapshot of my husband's brain, and I'm not even sure I'm ready for that.
Next time you're talking to a patient, you should be like, I have a really good movie for you.
Yeah. You think this is messed up? Go watch this movie.
By any chance, do you have Shudder?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Do you want to watch a movie about the power of love?
There you go.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. Probably won't do it again for another ever.
Oh, come on now.
We'll still
No.
be here anyway. We'll always be here.
I was more scared with Gremlins, I will say, than this movie.
See, and I told you that, is that this wasn't necessarily suspenseful or scary.
There was the one jump scare part.
It was
I
pretty
forget, but
terrible.
yeah. Still, no. I'll stick with my cooking competition shows and create.
Some ghost shows in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ghost investigation stuff. I can handle that.
Yeah, you're really well with that. We should bring back 1-2 Go Show.
We'll see. Only if Brennan will come on.
Oh, I would love to put my opinion down.
Yeah. And do the Baraboo investigation with us.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we went to the old Baraboo Inn and did a ghost investigation.
In Baraboo, Wisconsin. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't get any EVPs in my bathroom sessions. Well, I
Just
did.
foghorns.
It's just,
Yeah.
it's just me peeing and
Calling
farting in the
Vikings.
bathroom.
Yeah, Viking horns.
So yeah, I guess as far as I'm concerned, I mean, wow, I didn't bury that lead at all. This is a movie. I love it. This is one of my favorite movies ever. If I were a movie, I would be this movie because it brings in a lot of all the things that I enjoy together in the one place. And I highly recommend this to anyone. Just watch Psycho Goreman. It's fantastic. No complaints here.
Are they making a sequel?
Not that I know of. But there is Freddy Frico, which is kind of in the same vein as this movie, I guess, or it's kind of referring to throwback stuff, but it's like weird little monster guy takes dude to weird little monster realm.
I bet that's just craziness.
It looks insane. I haven't watched it yet. It came out already in theaters, and I think it's on demand now somewhere, but I haven't gotten around to watching it. I'm very excited for it. I like the vibe that this director brings.
Yeah,
Like
it's very unique.
Yes. And find some interviews with him. It's very interesting when he talks to people about like just kind of his view on things. And I would love to meet him someday and just have fun discussions.
Maybe he's listening right now.
Maybe. Hey, you want to talk to a creepy old man? I'm available. Give me a call anytime.
Or you can give us an email. Oh, this is going to be kind of hard to sync up since we're not in the same room right now.
Oh, no, it's going to be synced up.
Corrupted Youth Pod at gmail.com.
We were synced up and not synced up.
Yeah, just fix it in post.
No, I won't. You can't tell me what to do, skeleton.
You can't tell me what to do either, father.
Why don't you two settle down? It's me, Beast Man.
I'm not doing Tila. No. I've done enough.
Okay, I suppose. Wow, so I guess you've had enough. Just buy yourself a t-shirt from our TeePublic store.
Yay! And also join us in the Dongle Den, a group on Facebook.
Brennan shows up once in a while.
Great while. Yeah, sorry. 21-year-olds don't really use Facebook
That's
much.
okay.
But it is a pretty fun group. Fun memes in there. Come chat.
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
So thank you to our listeners, the dongles.
See you guys listening right now. You're a dongle.
That's right. You don't even have a choice anymore.
Yeah.
Oh no, you've listened to one episode. You're a dongle. There's no escape.
I'm a dongle by marriage.
You are a dongle by marriage.
Yeah, and thank you, Mother, for appearing on this episode.
Yeah.
It's always fun having a different perspective on things.
It will be fun recording our next episode from my weird bachelor apartment because I will be divorced after making my wife watch Psycho Goreman.
No.
It'll be because of Crazy Town.
Come,
Just
my
the-
ladies. Come,
No,
lady.
whoa, hey, whoa,
You're my
Copyright
butterfly,
strike.
sugar, baby.
Copyright strike. Okay, thanks to our fellow podcasters for your support. You guys are pretty rad too.
Yeah, you guys are cool.
Hey, let's all just try to survive the new year.
Yeah.
It's gonna be rough, but you know what? We're all here together, and if you ever need anybody, just call Brennan.
I'll probably be at work, but I can make time for the call.
'Cause,
Put the dongle symbol in the air. Like the bat symbol.
yeah, it just looks like a dongle.
Just a-
Whatever you think a dongle might look like.
they'll be there for you. Dan and Brennan to the rescue.
That's right. Until then, hang in there, dongles.
Hang in there.
Corrupted youth! Corrupted youth! Corrupted youth! Corrupted youth! I do not care for hunky boys.